What's good? It's your girl Vitamin C, and you are tuned in to Key to the City podcast.
Feel to live, plus I'm behind in so many aspects, so many facets, trying to build for real. You listen, but do you really hear? Do you really feel what I really feel? That in 20 years when I visit here, I think of all the things that I could have did, and I don't want that. I'm trying to live. I ain't trying to live without you. I know I want to run away every day. Maybe you think I'm gonna forget about you, but that ain't true, mama. Don't got enough time to thank you, mama. You won't believe all the things I made it through, cause I thought, what would you do, mama? You taught me praying for my neighbors. Don't let nobody steal your joy, your character.
What's going on, kinfolks? It's your kinfolk Yoni, and welcome back to another episode of Key to the City podcast. I really appreciate y'all, man. Look at me stumbling over my words already. Everybody that's been sharing, supporting, commenting, liking, whatever you've been doing to show support for the podcast. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for voting us best local podcast in Jackson, man. You didn't have to do that, but you did. We're just going to continue to try to make you proud, man. Continue to bring you quality guests and quality interviews like we have today. If y'all notice this queen to the right of me, she is one of the most soulful artists in the city and in the region, really, in the nation. You know, so, her style kind of reminds you of a Lauryn Hill, a Rhapsody, you know, real soulful. I'm talking about bars that stick to your ribs, not none of that shit that just flow right through you. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to find out a little more about her, why they call her the orange juice and your mimosa. You heard that? The orange juice and your mimosa. We're going to find out a little bit about her background, what she has coming up for 2020. Hey, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the city, the incomparable, the queen, Miss Vitamin C. What's going on, queen?
Hello, I'm swell. That was a beautiful intro.
Hey,
I
I've
don't
been-
even know what to do.
I've been doing my thing, man, just working on my craft. You know what I'm saying? When I
You
see people
definitely
like you
do.
that's really into that craft, I know I need to step my game up. So, how your day going so far?
Going well. It's
Good.
been a good day. Glad to be above ground and
I know that's right.
Moving and functioning. It's been a good day. How about yours?
Hey, I can't complain. I'm here. With all the death that's going around, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
take pride in just being alive. So,
Definitely.
we appreciate you stopping through the city, sharing some time with us. For those that don't know, where does the name Vitamin C come from?
Vitamin C stems from, well, it's a few different origins, but the initial one, my mom, she's very big on preventative types of medication and things that keep you from getting sick, so that like you don't really have to deal with the actual illness. And like vitamin C, her formula is like green tea, honey, vitamin C.
Word.
And if she even would hear us think about coughing, she don't like.
Get you some of that Vitamin C.
She thinking of, like, if we thinking about getting sick, she sending us to the cabinet to make sure we get our vitamin C, our honey, our green tea, all that. And so I would always look at it in a way of it's very preventative, and vitamin C being for your immune system, it protects you from things that are not there for you, for your health.
Mhm.
And so that being one of the biggest reasons, as well as I got to give a shout out to my youth pastor, Raison Thompson. He would always teach us like for a very long time, he was drilling in our spirits that we're the medicine. And
Word.
medicine is used to help the body heal itself. It's not used as a elixir, as a cure-all, as some magic potion, but as something to aid your body in doing what God has already ordained it to do. So I like to believe that with my words and with my gifts that I'll be able to help people do what it is that God has already created them to do.
Word. Now, so come get your medicines is basically what you said.
Come on.
Now,
Get
when
it
you
now.
first started music, I know you started like in your childhood remixing songs that were currently out, like industry songs. When did you get the bug to like really take it serious?
I was doing that in like 8th grade, 9th grade, because I wasn't really allowed to listen to secular music growing up. So like it was probably like the end of 7th grade, beginning of 8th grade when I would like go and look for the songs that like I would hear people in my school singing, or like looking for stuff that I would maybe hear some of the kids around the church singing. You know, I'm just like trying to be in tune. And so I was remixing songs throughout middle school, mainly high school, and then I started taking it seriously. I want to say my senior year of school. I was in 11th grade when me and my younger sister Neo Soul and a great friend of mine, Jazziel Ace, who was my pastor's son. My pastor at the time, he was his son. We making music together at church. Right. So like that was when I realized, like, with us all kind of tuning into who we were individually, it was really helpful for me to see, okay, I can take this beyond the four walls of the church. I can take this beyond my personal limitations that I've already placed on myself, because I used to be very insecure in the idea of actually rapping. Like, I wrote raps down on paper long before I would say them out loud. So like I got the confidence to be able to just rap like in front of people when I was in high school, and I was began to take it seriously. Really when I realized I didn't want to go to college. I was like, well, that should have been me. You know, like it was one of those things. Even though I did go to school, my passion was never really there. I feel you. And I had made bargains with God. I'm like, look, man, if you want me to go to school, you're gonna have to make sure I ain't gotta pay for it. You're gonna make sure that my mama and them ain't gotta suffer in terms of like financially trying to, because I already don't want to do it. Right, so exactly. It's like I was very against the idea of putting an additional burden on my parents. And so, but God was gracious. I was able to go to school, and even in that, like, I was realizing I started off at community college, and so I was like in class very, very disengaged, but I would be writing about what I wanted my future to be. Right. And I'd be writing about the things that I was frustrated with, the things I was seeing daily that like didn't fuel me, and like stuff that like I was in a very low place of motivation, but I was writing about that aggravation and that frustration with like where to go next. So, yeah.
I think a lot of young people struggle with that. It's kind of like when we're coming up, well, I know at least for my generation, you only hear one way to attain success: go to school, get a job, work hard at it for 30 years.
And maybe you can retire with money to live, maybe, possibly. But
once you find that passion, and then you know what it is that you want, and you dedicate your life to it and go hard with it, you can have those same results. At least I believe. Yeah. Like, who inspired you musically? Your style is really versatile. I know I mentioned Lauryn Hill, Rhapsody, but I can tell the soulful background, the church background in your music as well. What does your music represent? What's the message that you're trying to get across?
My message is, I feel like it's full of a lot of things, but mainly keeping your joy through the inevitable chaos of life, because the chaos gonna come, the downfall is gonna come, the turbulence is going to come. Those are things that are inevitable in this world that is not our home, you know. And so with that, it's like still keeping your joy, because joy is something that is divine, that is not man given, and it can't be taken away. So it's I'm very much an advocate of just staying rooted in your joy and in love, and not love in a way of what I feel like sometimes the world can make it be, but that love that is beyond words and explanation, unconditional indeed. And so that's mainly what I'm rooted in. I feel like a lot of my influences initially did stem from like the artists that I was listening to when I was younger, which was like Mary and Kirk Franklin and Kiki Sheard, and like it was groups like Trinity and 2103, like that I can think of, that like going on trips to my grandma's house, that's all we got like playing. Like a lot of modern like 2000s gospel, like the stuff that you would listen to at your youth explosions. Like that's really a lot of where my initial inspiration came from. I was listening to guys like Kenton Jones and Lecrae, Andy Mineo. But I still like that. I don't know if that was necessarily inspiration, but that's all that I was around. So it really couldn't help but be I took those messages and those feelings that I would get when hearing music like that. And then as I got older, like I'm listening to Kendrick, I'm listening to Chance the Rapper, I'm listening to Cole and Lauren and Erica, and like these are artists who I wasn't introduced to at a very young age that a lot of people grew up on. And so like I'm finding them very later on in my life and being like, oh snap, this might be my tribe. Like, you know, in terms of like it was a lot of stuff what other people would say to me really didn't always click with me because that's not what I always knew. I want to say I listened to the Miseducation full, like all the way through. I was in college. And that came out like the year after I was born, maybe. Like it was like 98. Okay, so that was like I was born in 96. And so
youngin.
Yeah, I'm a youngin. But thing is, I a lot of times I look at the fact that artists like Erica and Lauryn Hill and Jill Scott and like all these queens, they were in their prime at the time where like me and my peers were just entering into this world, you know. And I realized that regardless of whether I had ever been introduced to them or not, that their energy was there. And so like it's been very like revealing for me because of the fact that it's like things start to align and add up a lot later on for me. So
makes sense. And you mentioned making a joyful noise in your music. And speaking of joyful noise, that was your debut album, correct? In 2017.
My project.
And that is a classic, ladies and gentlemen, from top to bottom. I'm not just gassing her up because she's sitting right here in front of me. If you want to hear some good music with good bars and good energy and good flow, she the one. Vitamin C. How did that album come about? That project come along? What was your motivation behind it? Did you set deadlines for yourself?
Heck no. Heck no, I didn't. Because, Joyful Noise came out April 2017. April 2017. So it's been almost 3 years now. And I was in a transitional state at the beginning of working on Joyful Noise prior to me even knowing that it was going to be called Joyful Noise. Okay. I knew that I wanted to release a project in like 2016. I was working on it, I want to say in 2015 before like really being knowledgeable of it. But like songs like THC and Crazy Dream, like I had wrote those before even getting up here in Jackson. So those were like some of the songs that I used to help mold the rest of the project. And I was working with Jazzy L. Ace, my younger sister, Neo Soul, one of my best friends, Noah Knows, and we were all just like, I was coming back and forth. I had just transferred to Jackson State in the fall of 2016, and so I was going back and forth from Jackson to home. That's 3 hours, 3 hour drive, and I want to say from like August to December, I had probably made like, I won't even say, it was probably between like 7 to 10 trips back home, like just driving and making sure that that like I was working the way that I wanted to, because I still wanted to work with my family, even though I was up here and I was being introduced to my creative family that is here in Jackson. I was still like in those places of trying to figure it out. Like Vitamin C was very new. Like the identity of Vitamin C was still very new for me at that time. And so I was just going home, working on music, coming back up here, getting inspiration, going to class, trying to figure this stuff out. And I wanted Joyful Noise to come out in like January. My birthday is January 8th, and I wanted to come out in January. It came out April. So that's how that was. Like you can even really hear in the, if you're listening like you can hear a difference, a change in like the feel, maybe around like after like the 7th, 8th song. The rest of the songs are like after being more settled in Jackson, and they were a little bit darker. I feel not in a negative way, but just in a more intimate way. And at that time, I was working with this producer who up here, and we were just making music, and I feel like it came together in a very organic way. Definitely. Because even though I really had the intentions of getting it out a lot sooner than I did, because I didn't, a lot of songs that wouldn't have made it got to make it. And so
we glad.
Look, I am too, because it was a few of those, a lot of those songs on Joyful Noise I wrote in 2017, like months before it actually released, whereas other songs had been written in 2015, beginning of 2016. So it's different pieces of me and my experience and my transition from Gaucher to Jackson, my transition from like play adulthood to adulthood. It was a lot of different versions of me, I guess, in Joyful Noise, and so I'm really grateful for it.
It all came together well.
Thank
and I think my first time seeing you perform was in Hattiesburg on the Dear Silas Village tour. You had a great performance then.
Thank you.
And you work with several artists in the city. So with that being said, like, what's your opinion of the local music scene here? Do you think we're uniting more?
I definitely a lot more than what we had in the past. The craziest thing for me is being up here in the Jackson scene for about maybe like three solid years now. I had thought that this just what it was in Jackson all the time. Like I came in, I feel at the beginning of like that spark when like people were beginning to come together and do more shows and be more active. And so because of that, I really didn't know anything else. So I was like, oh, I got to hit the ground moving because this is how they moving in Jackson. Right. So like that's how I felt when I first got up here. And then like I remember being introduced to Silas through it was through The Day I Died. That his first album like was so impactful for me. Like transitioning from this space of being on the coast and working 2 to 3 jobs at any given moment while being a full-time student and feeling like I'm compromising my dream or my purpose just to make sure that I can pay my insurance. Like, you know, like that I can pay for stuff that like I feel like we shouldn't have to pay for, but
and that's another topic.
Look, that's a whole nother. We can have that conversation. But like, I being introduced to his music and like that was a very special part of my journey because like I don't even know if he really knows to the extent of how helpful his music was for me coming up here trying to figure it out. And so even linking with him was a blessing. Getting in with young Jules, who is my big sister.
Shout out to Jules.
That's my sister, man. Like I'm so grateful for her because she made it to where like I came up here pretty like green. I was, not to say that's a nice way to say it. Yeah. I come from a pretty sheltered home and then coming up here and just all I want to do is music, even though I'm enrolled in school. And like she was able to help me through a lot of things, not just musically but just in life. And so I'm so grateful for my tribe up here, like very, very much so. And I think that we are doing a fantabulous job at coming together and uniting and utilizing each other and the energy that we have here, and it's just so much. I say it all the time and I never stop saying it. It's so much gold. It's just royal beings just walking around in Mississippi. Just you like it's really crazy because of how overlooked Mississippi can be. It's kind of like you really just got like royals just walking around just like it. It's crazy. And I think in other places it can get it can be commercialized a lot more to a way that it takes the authenticity out of it. But I feel like that is those little things that people look at as disadvantages for us are actually advantages, because people gonna see the real. People gonna know the real. Like we as real as it get. We're as real as it get, and I love it. And I love where the scene in Mississippi is going.
I think we're on the brink of something special, not just with the artists, but if you look at all the media platforms that's popping up, Key to the City, all the platforms for like artists to perform, like the Exchange, things like that,
and even spaces.
Oh yeah,
just do these things.
Exactly, man. So we're on the brink of something special. People just gotta stay tuned. Key to the City podcast. We're here with Vitamin C. Before we let you go, you're also a music supervisor for a web series, correct? Tell us a little more about that.
Black Enough.
Enough.
I'm so grateful. So my friend Micah Ariel Washington. Why did I just say Washington? Micah
Get it right.
Ariel Watson. I always have to say her full name because it's like, yeah, she's the writer, director, producer for Black Enough, and it's a web series that basically follows this dancer named Amaya through her transition from high school to college. She's dancing. She's trying to figure out who exactly she is. She's in these relationships, friendships, just trying to navigate life as well as what it means to be Black in the way that, because Blackness is so many different things and so many facets. And so for her journey and her battle is being Black enough without feeling like she's compromising herself. And it's a lot of different relatable pieces and characters all throughout the web series. But season 1 wrapped up at the end of December, and season 2 they officially announced that season 2 will be in the works this year. Word. And I was able to do all of the music. I was able to produce the score for Black Enough along with Fifth Child, the amazing producer here in
Shout
Jackson.
out Fifth Child,
Yes.
Y'all check that out, Black Enough web series. Before we let you go, I have one final question. Every artist has a certain definition of what success looks like to them. It's different for every artist. Some people want to sell a lot of records. Some people want to create a following. Some people want to build a base where they can tour for the rest of their lives. Some people want to go platinum, whatever. What does success look like for Vitamin C?
Success looks like
for your career.
For success in my career looks like not worrying about what is next and looking forward to what is next. So being financially stable, and not just me, everybody around me, my family, my friends, like being able to make sure that financially we good, spiritually I'm good, emotionally, like all of that goes in, because I know that success or the idea of it can take such a toll on that, and you got a lot of people with a whole lot of money and no souls out here, and I really, really, really want to be able to balance being super wealthy and super real, and also super just really balanced, and being able to just give everything it is that I have that God got for me to give to people in whatever way.
I'm with that. How can my audience follow you, check out your music? People may want to reach out to you, book you for a show. How can they get over with you?
You can follow me on all social media platforms at the VitaminCEA. And for bookings and any type of business inquiries, you can email me at thevitamincea@gmail.com. You can find my music on also all streaming platforms.
Yes, sir.
VitaminCEA. You can find Joyful Noise. You can be on the lookout for some new news sooner than later. Yeah, you can hit me up on the gram, on Facebook, whatever. I got merch.
She got merch. Y'all see that?
Yeah,
it's hot.
I
got to get me one.
I'm trying to, pay rent and stuff. So, yeah, come support your girl.
Please do support her. And not just because she's saying it because she deserves it, man. She's really working her tail off, and she got the results to prove it, man. Vitamin C, CEA. Y'all go check out on all platforms. This is the Key to the City podcast. It's your kinfolk, Yoni. She is Vitamin C. My boy's going crazy in the background, so we about to end this interview. You did. But y'all tune in next week. I holla. Peace. Hey.